So hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to class, then welcome, and if you're coming back for some more flow with me, then thank you so much. It's lovely to have you joining me in all these classes. Today's flow is reasonably quick. It's a 3 times flow. So we're going to run through the sequence together and slow and held, just observing the alignment and looking at the postures, and then we will flow one movement, one breath together to just add a little power and a little spice to the Vinyasa. So we're going to get straight into it. We're going to begin in child's pose. Any of the power moves that I offer you, as always, if they're not for you today, then you just leave them, you modify them, you just take a child's pose, you stay in a cat, you stay in a down dog, your practice. And then whilst we're in our first child's pose together, just bowing the head. Maybe taking a little rock side to side. We do this lots. Maybe just for the first time today, whatever time of day it is for you, just observing the breath and how it feels now. Just making that breath nice and full and rich and calm. So that breath enhances your practice. It doesn't bother your practice. And then from your child's pose, coming up into your knees and hands and finding your first cat spine, high in that cat spine. Feeling a stretch across the back of the neck and the length in the neck, and if it feels nice, just have a little move around through the head, just lose any tension from the neck, clear any clutter from the mind, and then inhale, just dipping into your cow pose. And if you're thinking that your back is feeling a little tight, then maybe just move into that cow pose quite gently and quite respectfully, and up into our cat spine. And let's just move through our cat-cow together. Just exhaling and inhaling where it feels right for you, at the speed that feels good for you, with the energy that you have. Or maybe you don't have a lot of energy, and that energy will find its way through the practice. And then coming back to neutral, we're going to take our right hand off the mat. We're just going to reach it up to the ceiling or the sky. And then, as if there was a weight up there waiting for you, just grab that weight in your hand. And we're going to exhale that arm and thread the needle through. And we're going to inhale and reach back up to the ceiling or the sky. Let's do that a few times, just taking that again at your own pace, at your own energy. So if you're wanting to go super slow, or if you have this big hoard of energy, you could go super fast. And we're just going to do one more of these. And then as you reach that arm through last time, place your shoulder on the mat and your head. And then your left arm can reach out in front of you. And then just go with the feelings of the hold here. Tucking your shoulder underneath and reaching out through your left hand, really spreading out through your fingers. So the joints in your fingers wake up. And the back of your shoulders feels a little bit of space. And drawing your belly to your spine, bring your left hand back next to your head. And as you unthread that right arm, reach it out in front of you. And let's pick up our opposite leg. And then sort of reasonably see what you need to do here to find some stillness. And that stillness will come from alignment. But also it will come from sort of using all of your muscles in your body to find that lift and that length. And then come back to your hands and knees and back into your cat spine. Move your hands a little bit further forward, and let's find first downward facing dog. You're just going to have a pedal out, see how it feels. Maybe you want to march it out because your hamstrings are tight. Maybe you want to sway it out, a little swagger to your movement because you feel like you've got all this flow, just itching to get going. And then let's come forward to our first high plank. High plank always can be modified with your knees on the floor. And then we're going to come right down onto the belly, so use your knees where you need to. And we're going to find 4 cobras. So your hands move slightly forward if you need them to. And as you inhale, maybe that first cobra is just quite low, quite easy. You can roll the shoulders back and down. Chest is pointing forward, chin is tucked in. And let's come back down onto our mat through our chest, chin, nose and forehead. Our second, we're going to take a look over our right shoulder. We're just going to look towards that hip, closing on that side, maybe seeing your toes, and then coming forward, and rolling back down through your chest, chin, nose and forehead. Let's find Cobra number 3 and let's take a look over our left shoulder and just lower that shoulder out of your view. And then come back to face forward and all the way back and down. And then on your 4th Cobra, your last Cobra, maybe a little higher. And let's take that back to our child's pose where we started our class today. But not holding it this time. Let's come up onto our knees and hands again. Into that high cat. You might have to have a little wiggle around through your positioning. And then into that cow pose. Let's see if we can add a little bit more height to our cat. Maybe a little bit more flexibility to our cow. One more time. Breathing out, scooping up that belly. And back to neutral. So we're going to take our left arm off the mat, reach up to the sky and grab that weight, and then exhale, thread the needle. So we know now we're just moving through our own energy, our own pace. Sometimes when we're doing these things, it's really hard to see the screen anyway. So we can just make our own timing up, doing as many as we feel we want to do. Let's take that arm through and let our head and our shoulder come to the mat. Let your right arm extend out. Play with the feelings here. Get your left shoulder underneath more if that's also okay. Get your right hand further out if you're reaching out to find something. Even being able to see the ceiling from underneath your arm there. And then bringing your right hand next to your face. Take your left arm out, bring it out in front of you. And let's pick up that opposite leg again. And on this side, find our balance. Getting nice and lifted through the spine, nice and long through the body. So we feel balanced, we feel strong, and we still still. And let's come back to our knees and hands, up into our cat and back to our down facing dog. So every time you come to down facing dog, you should feel a little differently. For a moment, let's take a bit of stillness here. Just checking our form, our legs hip distance, our arms shoulder width, and our weight spread through our hands. I always think, start my weight from my fingertips, and then try and cheat my wrists a little bit off that weight. Let it almost flow past the wrists. And then come forward to your plank, high plank. Come down onto your belly. Let's find one cobra this time. Inhale. Sit back to our child's exhale. Come over the top of our cat spine and find our down facing dog on our toes and then lower the heels. That's a nice flow. Let's do it again. Coming forward to your plank. Coming down onto your belly. Into your cobra and back to your child's. From your child's over the top of your cat spine and up into your down dog on your toes and down through your heels. Let's make that 3. So coming forward to our plank, coming down onto your belly. Inhale up into your cobra. Exhale back to your child's. Come over your cat into your down facing dog on your toes, and let's settle back into our down facing dog. So making sure your knees and thighs are lifted, your backs and your legs feel active and strong and stretching. Gazes at your hands and step or jump to the top of your mat. Bring your legs so they're hip distance, and then bring your hands onto your shin bones so your spine is halfway and long. And then bring your hands back to the mat again and just take as much knee bend as you need to. Now this time as you lift your chest and your back is flat, turn your toes out slightly and just drop down into a goddess. And that might be a little tough for you early class, but if you can, just pop your elbows inside of your knees. Your hands can come to your chest if you wish. You could be flat on your feet, or you can even be a little bit up on your toes. And any modification to suit your hips, because I know this is a tough one. And then from your goddess, your malasana, let's place our hands back on the mat and straighten out our legs again. Inhale, your arms come all the way up. Step your feet together. and sit into a chair. Now from your chair, bring your hands in towards your chest, and we're just going to pick up our left foot. So just lift your left foot off the mat. We're going to bring that knee up in front of us. Either hold it then or extend it out in front, and then take it from in front of you to behind you. I'm not sure how much room I have behind me, not an awful lot. So you're going to straighten your leg. I'm going to turn this way, and then we're going to straighten out our leg and come into a warrior three. And this warrior three, I suppose, is a little bit longer than you want to hold it, but I'm going to offer you 5 little pulses into your glutes. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step that leg back in so your hip distance, hands to your hips, and let's take that wide, or that forward fold, that Uttanasana forward fold. And again, you can be ragdoll. We're just warming up, just exploring some of our muscles that sometimes rebel a little bit. Lift the chest, bring your hands to your shin bones, and then exhale, fold over your legs. This time as you lift your chest, turn your feet out, drop into your little goddess squat, your malasana. Find your elbows on the inside of your thighs or your knees, and then try and find that sort of proud lift to the spine. And then from there, bringing your hands back to your mat, exhale, straighten your legs. Take a breath in, reaching the hands all the way up, stepping your legs together, coming into your chair. Your hands are coming to your heart. This time it's your right foot that's flicking off the mat. Whoops, there's a wobble. Coming up with that knee in front, extending that leg out in front. Taking it from in front of you to behind you. It's like the letter T, and wobbling is a good thing because it makes it real. Seeing if you can find a little bit of stillness. Find those little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, you can manage one more, and step to the top of your mat into Tadasana. So we're going to be right at the end of our mat. We've got lots of mat behind us, hands down by your sides, or bringing your hands into your chest, a little bit of wardrobe adjustment, and let's begin our 3 flow today. So inhale as you take in the arms all the way up, and exhale, fold forward into your forward fold. Lift your chest, your gaze, your back is flat, and then just take a bow over your legs, really stamping your feet into the ground and lifting your knees and thighs, gazes forward. Step or jump to a plank and come all the way down to the mat one more time. Inhale to your cobra and exhale to downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, we're going to take our right leg off the mat, 3-limb down facing dog. Bend the knee and just explore that feeling on the inner part of your thigh, that sensation you feel from your hip to the tip of your knee. Bring your foot outside of your right hand and come into a wide lizard lunge up on your fingertips to begin with. And then as if we were pushing this ceiling down lower, coming a little lower onto your hands. And then lowering your back knee to the floor and just turning your toes out of your right foot. But then turning you to your right knee and your hand to your right knee, just to have a little bit of power to that leg. And feeling that in that lovely area in our hip. I suppose lovely isn't the word, is it? It's quite a tough stretch on our hips. But we do have more range of movement than we give ourselves credit for. But don't try and force what's not there. And then bring that hand back in, turn your toes back in. Now here's a little power for you to try. Lift your back knee off the mat, so your high lunge. And then see if you can bring your right foot off the floor, but keep your knee next to your shoulder. Or your elbow even. Bring your knee to your chest. My anatomy is not so good today. And then take that leg back up. Inhale. Now sweep it all the way through between your hands and come up into a high crescent lunge. Palms reaching as high above you as you can. Bring your hands back to your chest. We're just going to slowly dip our back knee to the mat, just like a normal lunge. And then back to your high crescent lunge. Do another with me slowly. And come back. And then 3 a little quicker. 3 and 2 and 1. As you come back to your crescent lunge, reaching your arms high, straightening your right leg out so your legs are like a pyramid. Turning to face the long end of your mat, hands to heart. Now I'm just going to do a quick turn around so I'm facing you on the screen. And we're going to take a wide forward fold. Just let the hands come to the mat, let your head come to the mat if that's available. We speak all the time in class about just doing what you can with this, because we're all made differently. For some people, they would never get their head on the mat. And for some people, it's such an easy task. And you sort of think, well, what's the fuss about? But we are all so different. So whatever you feel is right here, hands pushing you down, feet grounding you down, hips in flight, lifting up, so the backs of the legs always there in your attention. Inhale, come halfway. Right hand stays on the mat, left arm to ceiling. If you do my classes, you will know I love this. Turning your whole heart to look at that right hand there. Bringing your right hand down, taking your left hand up. Noticing how side to side, our twists are so different. With your breath, inhale your left hand down, exhale your right hand back. Inhale your right hand down, exhale your left arm up. Both hands coming back to the mat. Taking your arms out wide as if you have wings here. And then as you come up, turning your right foot out and finding a warrior 2. And you're just going to rest in a warrior 2, just checking your knees, sitting comfortably over your heel. You're feeling that inner thigh is still stretching. Your back leg is still anchoring you. And you've got this power feel in your spine. I love warriors. Powerful but gentle poses. Just take a reverse of that warrior, exhale. And if it feels really good for you, just lift your front heel off the floor and see if you can just sink a little deeper into that warrior 2. But then lower your heel back down and come back to your warrior 2. And on a breath, let's do that again. So reverse your warrior, maybe lifting your heel. And this time as you lower your heel, bring your back arm over and step back to a plank. Now while we're working slowly, I'm just going to offer you a press up here. So it's just halfway down, inhale, and back to plank, exhale. And then one more halfway or all the way to the floor and find your vinyasa through up dog or cobra and downward facing dog. And if you heard that crack that was like a pistol going off, that was my elbow, so I really apologise. Okay, so let's come back to our down facing dog. Now as this is our first time through, let's bring it right to the top of the mat. So stretching back, rise to your toes, bring your chest back to your thighs, look at your hands, and step or try a little jump to the top of your mat and back is flat. Exhale, fold over your legs and reaching your arms all the way back to the ceiling or to the sky, coming back to Tadasana. And let's do it all again. And I think I'll stay this way and then I will be facing you this time. Let's go again. So circle the arms up and swan dive down. Lift the chest halfway and fold back to your legs as if you're going to give your shins a little kiss. Come halfway, gazes forward, and step or jump to your vinyasa. Use your vinyasa. Not everyone is a favourite of up dog, so use a cobra and down facing dog. Exhale. This time it's our left leg we're lifting. We're dropping our heel to our hip, our knee to the ceiling. I want you to really observe that sensation, inner thigh, from that joint to the tip of that knee joint. How it tumbles you over sometimes, and you can explore that more if you're advanced. Bringing your foot outside of your hands, so think big toe and little finger. And you might just need to slide that back leg back. And you might need to encourage your hips down. So from your fingertips to your hands if you can. If you imagine the sky being pushed down or the ceiling pushed down. Maybe you can even bend your elbows and get a little bit lower. And then just drop the back knee to the floor. Turn your left toes out. Turn you towards your left knee. And then your hand on the inside of that knee. And just have a little adding of your weight, your power. Call the power from your body weight, but don't force it. I don't think we do force it actually in this, do we? Because if you're feeling what I'm feeling, it's quite a big sensation in the outside of the hip, and you sort of know when to stop. And we want to stop when we think it's right. And then just let that come back in. Turn your toes back in. Lift your back knee off the floor again. And then just using a little bit of strength, we're just going to lift that foot and leave our knee sat next to our elbow. And then bring our knee to our chest and sweep it up into our 3-limb down facing dog to bring it all the way back through. That wasn't a very good 3-limb down facing dog. But let's come up from there into our high crescent lunge. Absolutely using that back leg to support you and bringing your hands to your chest. So just let those thumbs slot into your sternum there. Dropping your back knee slowly to the mat. And back to your lunge. And once again. And back to your lunge. Let's go a little bit quicker. For 3, this is the most you do in the flow today. So just one more of these in repetition. Come back to your high lunge. Come back to those extended arms. Straighten your left leg. Turn to face forward and take a wide forward fold. Again with the option to see what you can do again. Maybe it's quite nice, you know, to bring the weight from your heels to the balls of your feet. But then stop when you feel you've still got a little wiggle in those toes, but you've also got a bit of a pitter-patter in your heels. So somewhere in the middle there, there's a point where you can feel light on the fronts and the backs of your feet. And then lifting the knees and thighs, inhale, coming halfway. This side we're going to take the arms behind the back. We're going to squeeze our shoulders as if we're holding something like a golf ball between our shoulders. And then as you fold over your legs again, just letting the arms come over. Get your hands on the mat. You're doing amazing. I am still waiting for that moment. I think once it happened when I was practicing and I thought, oh my goodness, what's that? It's the ground. But mostly it doesn't happen, but it doesn't matter. Why would it matter? Just being respectful and patient and gracious. Coming halfway in here. Letting those arms take flight to the side. Coming all the way back up. Let your left foot turn out and find your warrior 2. And you can move in your warrior. Might need to adjust your back foot. Might need to just check that feeling on your inner thigh. Sometimes we really need to think about our core as well, engaging our core and relaxing our shoulders. So your warrior feels powerful, but also gentle. Let's take a reverse of our warrior. Lift that front heel off the floor. See if there's a little bit more depth. Come back to your warrior, just lightly lower with that heel. Stay as powerful and gentle. As we reach back, exhale. Windmill the arms all the way around and find your plank. Now your plank, if you're feeling strong today, becomes chaturanga halfway and back to your plank. And then all the way down or halfway this time into up facing dog, or just stay with your cobra. And downward facing dog, exhale. So that's our flow. It's very short, it's very sweet. It is laced with power. Before we get going, one movement, one breath, we're just going to walk our hands back to our legs. Bend our knees and just be like a rag doll here. I sort of think of this as being standing up in child's pose. So we're stood up in the corner in child's pose. Just taking a couple of breaths. Just getting a little refresh of our muscles and our energy. Because we're going to start our flow from our down facing dog. Just walk our hands back out to our down facing dog. Exhale. Taking your right leg off the mat, 3-limb down facing dog. Bending your knee heel to bottom, and as you exhale, bringing your right foot outside of your right hand. Dropping your hips down, lizard lunge. And then rather than dropping your knee this time, just taking one lizard lunge press up. Inhale and exhale. Now if you can, lift that foot and leave your knee by your elbow. Bring it to your chest. And then fly up into your 3-limb down facing dog. And bring it through in between your hands. Inhale into your high crescent lunge. Exhale as your hands come to your chest, your back knee comes to your mat. Inhale as your hands go to the ceiling, both legs straighten. Turning to face the long edge of your mat as you find your wide forward fold, bringing your hands and your head towards the mat. Inhale halfway, taking a twist, taking your right arm up. And exhale, taking your left arm up. And exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Taking your arms out wide like wings and coming all the way up to standing, right foot turns out. Coming into your warrior 2, excuse my back. Reversing your warrior, lifting your heel and sinking your hips. And coming back to your warrior 2. One more time, reversing your warrior. And warrior 2. Back arm is coming over and step back to your plank. One press up, inhale. Exhale, this time I'm offering you side plank on your right side. So lifting through your side plank, modified on your knee. Coming back to your plank and find your vinyasa halfway onto your mat. Inhale up, facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. And just coming back to down facing dog. I'm so sorry about my back there. It's really hard to teach always facing the screen. So it's just better for me that we flow. Let's take our left leg off the mat. Drop that heel to your bottom. Bring your foot outside of your hand, lizard lunge. Stay there or drop your hips and come into one lizard lunge press up. Inhale and exhale. Just lift that foot off the floor so your knee is next to your elbow. And then bring it to your chest. And extend it high in your 3-limb down facing dog. And then sweep it through to your high crescent lunge. Inhale as your arms reach to the ceiling. Exhale as you drop down into your lunge. Inhale, both arms extend, both legs straighten. Exhale, turn to face the long line of your mat and your wide forward fold, exhale. Coming halfway this time, taking your arms behind your back. And as you fold into your straddle forward fold, reaching your arms over, or those fingers touch the mat. Coming halfway, inhale, tabletop. Arms coming out in flight. Inhale as you lift. Left foot turns out, exhale to your warrior 2. Taking a reverse of that warrior if you want to lift your heel. And then come back to your warrior 2 a little deeper. One more time, inhale. And then windmill those arms across and find your plank. Your offer is one press up, one plank, and then left side with your side plank. From your side plank, back to your plank, and we vinyasa, halfway onto your mat, into up dog or cobra, into downward facing dog. Exhale. You can come to a child's if you wish, if it's going to change ends here. Or you can flow one more time with me. We have the heat, we have the sequence in our memory, we have the energy. Right leg leaves the mat. Bend the knee. Foot coming outside of your right hand, lizard lunge. Dropping the hips and then dropping down into that one press up. Just hovering your right foot, knee to elbow, knee to chest, and back to your 3-limb down facing dog. Bringing that leg all the way through, high crescent lunge. And inhale as your arms reach high above your head. Exhale, drop down into that lunge. Both legs straighten as your arms raise up. And turning to face forward as you wide forward fold. Can you touch the mat now with your head? Weight is forward. Inhale, flat back. Right hand on the mat, taking your left arm up. And then left hand on the mat, taking your right arm up. Both hands on the mat, tabletop. Taking your arms out like wings. Coming all the way up, right foot is turning out, coming into your warrior two. Reversing your warrior as your right heel lifts. And back to your warrior, exhale. And again, reversing that warrior. And back to your warrior. Bringing your left arm over and stepping back to your plank. Finding your one press up. Inhale, exhale, and your right side plank. Maybe you want to just take a little tree pose in that side plank this time. And then round back to your plank and Vinyasa. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just taking your left leg off the mat. Last time, last side. Just dropping that hip or that heel. Bringing your foot outside of your hand into your lizard press up, all the way down. Get down under that ceiling and back. Hover your foot off the mat. Knee to elbow, knee to chest. 3 limb down facing dog. And then step that foot between your hands. Sometimes it needs a little help. And inhale. High crescent lunge. Let's drop that back knee, hands come into your chest, and then both legs straighten like a pyramid, arms to the sky. Turning to face the long line of your mat, coming back into your wide forward folds, and then lifting halfway, taking the arms behind the back, and as you fold forwards, just letting the arms just relax, the shoulders be free. And maybe this is the one where your hands find the mat. Inhale halfway. Take flight with those arms. And come all the way up, turning your left foot out into your warrior two. Reversing your warrior as your heel raises. And then can we sink into our warrior just a little bit deeper. One more time, reverse your warrior. And come back to your warrior. Bringing your right arm across and back to your plank. Last time into our press up to plank. Let's find our left side with our plank. And kind of just going opposite to you. And then back to your plank. Find Vinyasa, inhale, upward dog or cobra. And let's take a little switch back into child's pose. Exhale. And if you take your knees a little bit wider than your thighs and your heels, you might find quite a nice little back bend for you to sink into, a little bit like cow pose. In our cat-cow, you can bow your head. We have one last little thing to complete the Vinyasa together. So let's come over the top of our cat spine and back to our down facing dog. And let's just really notice this one. Whether we need to just hold it in stillness, or whether you're like me and you just need it as a bit of a down stretch after the Vinyasa. Just to come back to that nice easy feel about your body and your breath. And then we're just going to take a look at our hands and step or jump our feet into our hands. Straighten out the legs and just take your feet a little bit wider so they're about hip distance. Catch your big toes or tuck your hands under your feet, or just hold your elbows and be just a ragdoll, but just take a nice easy stretch over your legs. Try and find that balance between where you've got a lightness in your heels and releasing your toes. So you're neither really pressing the weight too much into the fronts or the backs of the feet. As you inhale, lift the chest, turn your feet out to the two corners of your mat and drop down into that goddess pose again. And just let your hands find your prayer hands, or they can just stay on the mat. And then if you can, you're going to bring your right hand to the inside of your shin bone on the mat there, and take your left arm up and use that arm to sort of hold that hip open. And where your eyes are looking, see if you can make a little turn with your chest as well. And then come back to your goddess, your malasana, and change sides. So leave your left hand in front of your shin and reach your right arm up. And see if you can sort of think about trying to keep the alignment of your malasana. And then come back to your goddess. And then place the hands on the mat, and if you want to take a crow pose, and you know crow pose is in your practice, just tip that weight forward and just take your variation of your crow pose, whatever you feel comfortable today. And then let's just tuck that back into our malasana. Straighten your legs, which feels a joy. Inhale, reach the arms up, step your feet together. Raise your arms above your head, sit into your chair, bringing your hands into your chest. Taking your left foot off the mat, so you're finding that single leg chair squat. Bringing your knee out in front, extending your leg out in front. As you know, I don't have a lot of room behind me, but I'm hoping you do. Let's come forward into your warrior three. If you remember at the very beginning, we just took a little hold and 5 little glute stretches. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step that leg back in, hands to your hips, and let's go again. Last time, exhale. We have the option for big toes, tucking our hands under our feet maybe, or just taking that quieter option of just being that ragdoll there. If you've got your hands underneath your feet, see if you can gently squash your knuckles with your feet into your mat and lighten the connection with the back of your heels. Come halfway. Place your hands on the mat, turn your feet out, and you just turn to face you again. Last time into your malasana, but not held this time. From your malasana, back to your forward fold. From your forward fold, back to your malasana. And back to your forward fold. And last time back to your malasana. Bring your hands into your prayer. And let's stand, power move from there. Stepping your feet back together. I can see your faces the other side of the screen. Inhale, the arms reach up. Come into your chair. I can hear all those names you're calling me. Let's take our right foot off the floor. And extend our right knee out in front. Extend your right leg, even if you're like me and you're wobbling all over the place. And then take that back to your very last warrior three. I'm just going to stay with a bit of a bent leg this time. Going to sort of let my foot rest on my door handle and cheat. And then those 5 little glute stretches, maybe I will. Why have you got to do them and not me? 5, 4, 3, 2, and a real wobbly last one. And step back to Tadasana. You're going to love this bit. Inhale the arms. Exhale, fold. Lift the chest and smile. Cross one leg behind the other. And come to your bottom. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Sit nice and tall through the spine. And bring your arms out in front. Tuck your chin in. And let's just do just a couple of little stretches to complement that practice. Bringing your knees into your chest. And your back, a little massage. Placing your right foot on the floor, bringing your left foot to the outside of your knees so we can catch that right leg and squeeze it in. And I call this air massage, so where you feel that in your left hip, just feel like you're massaging that area in the sky. And if you can do it small, try big and bold. It was really, really nice. And then while your leg is there in front of you, let's catch hold of it, extend it up to the ceiling, and just stretch your other leg out in front. That leg can be on the ground or it can hover, depends how you want to work. And then gently just let that leg bow to you. Maybe you can have a little circle around through the ankle, going both ways. Or maybe a little stir around, like you're stirring a pot with your leg in your hip. And go both ways. And then as you exhale, just have a little bow to you with that leg. And then tuck that knee back into your chest. With your opposite hand, catch hold of the outside of the knee and take that leg across your body. And it's quite nice to turn your head away. And it's quite nice to relax as much as our body as we can. So if you sometimes hold intention, waiting for the next instruction, there is no instruction for the next couple of breaths. So just be nice and quiet and really enjoy that feeling. And then on your next exhale, just draw that knee in and bring both knees in as well. Catching the tops of the knees, just taking a little outward circles with the legs. Or maybe what's quite nice to do is just feel like you're just doing a little bit of a squiggle, making up your own pattern. And then hug them back in. Placing your left foot on the mat, bringing your right ankle to the outside of your left knee or thigh and catch that left leg and big squeeze in. Just practice your air massage with your hip. Your air guitar. What tune are you playing on your hip? For me, it would be a little bit of Bon Jovi. I think Bed of Roses I play on my air guitar. What would you play on yours? All comments would be really, really appreciated. Let me know what tune you're playing on your air guitar today. And let's catch hold of our leg. Extend it up to the sky, the ceiling if you're lucky. If you're out in the open, it's the sky. If you're like me in your home, it's to the ceiling. Let's go with our ankle circles. Both ways. Maybe your toes want to join in. I have these really big long toes that really can have a good stretch out. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing when you try and squeeze them into tiny shoes. Let's go both ways. Now you know about my feet. And then just gently let that leg bow to you. And hug that knee in. Opposite hand finds the outside of your knee. Free arm can find wherever it wants to go. And take that leg across your body. Find that feeling. We all find that lovely feeling here. Again, there's no instruction for the next 2 or 3 breaths, so just relax, close your eyes, and enjoy the sensation. You maybe can hear my neighbour's dog. His name is Otto. He barks like a Great Dane, and he looks like the end of a broomstick. He's a tiny little fluffy thing. And draw that leg back in and squeeze your knees in. Bring both knees in. Somebody said to me, you know, and while we're just hugging our knees, somebody said to me about, you can buy this piece of equipment and that piece of equipment and it will buffer out all the sounds and all you will hear is your voice. But you know, I quite like the fact that this is real and that my neighbours are there and their dog is barking. And I think one of my videos, my neighbour was strimming in his garden, but it just makes it real, because we are real, aren't we? Life is real. Let's have a little circle around to see how it feels in our back today. And then maybe curl your head up to meet your legs. Roll your shoulders back and down. And then as you lower your head, just take the best stretch through your limbs, through your spine, through your entire body. As you bring your arms down by your side, as always, I just sort of suggest maybe you stay there and just find some time for Savasana. But everybody's different, and some of you will have more time for Savasana. So rather than me give you the option for how much time you spend in Savasana or not, I'm going to come up and finish the class. I'll leave you there if that's for you. Or if you are coming with me to finish the class today, just walking your feet underneath your knees and just taking a roll onto whichever side you feel most comfortable to push yourself up to a seated. Coming back where we started a little while ago. Maybe a little bit more worked, a little bit more stronger, a little bit more flexible, I hope. So taking our breath together, inhale, capturing that positive energy in your palms and bringing that all the way back down through to your heart center. Namaste, and maintain all that positive energy for the rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me once again. I hope you enjoyed the Vinyasa flow. And I hope you enjoy playing your favourite song on your air guitar. And have the most amazing day, afternoon or evening. And I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.